Hi everyone, hope you're all well. Today I want to talk more about UFOs and interdimensionals and aliens and all of that, and it's kind of going to be a bit of a loose kind of discussion. I haven't really planned it, but I've been following Thomas Sheridan's posts about UFOs recently, that the military are talking about strange looking beings, like they call them. One of them, like the jellyfish type being, it looks Lovecraftian, and there's others as well, and can be connected to the thinning of the veil. And I had some ideas. Well, the ideas really sparked me. I was watching a video um, about a man from, I think it's Afghanistan, whose grandmother was apparently a black witch, and she was basically in communication with a giant that lived in a cave, and she was feeding it goats, offering it goats, and it was eating them. And his father, said he'd saw massive like footprints, like about as long as a person, around the area of the cave, and he never went in. Um, and apparently, she was just trying to kind of appease it and keep it happy so that it didn't go attacking her or others around the village, which is interesting as well. She wasn't really trying to properly interact with it. She was just trying to keep it peaceful. Maybe so it didn't eat human flesh, right? Yeah, in their story of these giants being like cannibals, so they eat people and stuff. So yeah, that's interesting. But the thing that really got my attention was how he was talking about how over there, like let's just say the Middle East, you get all these stories of entities, um, on the battlefield, that they can see them with the infrared kind of binoculars technology, but then they can't see them without it, and they're picking them up on camera, and stuff like that. There's lots of weird goings on, stories about these beings, entities following the soldiers, um, that um, you know, the foreign soldiers, the American soldiers and English soldiers that go and fight out there. They come back and they get followed and pursued and tortured. They, um, things like that. But what I found interesting was this guy said that the soldiers, um, they believe that these beings, these jinn or whoever they are, they call them angels. They're protecting them against foreign invaders and helping them win wars, um, which made me think of you know the West's involvement with the Middle East, and it probably wasn't such a good idea, um, and also the migration of Eastern people into the West. Are we going to, I probably said it before, are we going to be taking on the spiritual battle that's going on over there? But I mean, probably said it before, but it is just the average Western normie, I don't think, can comprehend maybe what they know over there, and how they're interacting with these beings. Before I go on, that video is from a guy called Terry Carter. I believe he's the guy that interviewed, the gentleman from the Middle East, and he's got loads of other videos as well. And I'm just in the middle of watching another one as well. The other one I'm watching, this other guy is talking about. This other guy was apparently worked in the film industry in Hollywood and stuff like that, and he had a lot of spare time to talk to people. And he's saying that, and this ties into what I thought before I watched this video actually, and that is that he's saying that. So he was talking about as the Aztec culture, but he's saying it's all over everywhere, I think. there's buried treasure and underground facilities that are ancient, and they are guarded by an ancient machine technology that dates from, like, whether you want to call it Atlantis or whatever, that era, and it's still surviving, and it's guarding these caves, and that's why the West is interested in the Middle East in trying to uncover all of this, same as Hitler and the Nazis. Now the reason why it interested me that he's calling it like a robotic technology or something. But I was listening to another video of a friend, and she mentioned bluebeam, and then she mentioned this other guy, James Bartley, who is an alien researcher, but he's an experiencer as well. And he was talking about Project Bluebeam, how a lot of us think that yeah, okay, so it's for a fake alien invasion. The aliens, the ETs, like it's a fake ET. I think that's the main one we're thinking of. Fake ET invasion. The ETs aren't landing or anything. It's all holographic, right? So they want to do that so they can stage a fake event and then take away our freedoms and all of that. It's like another trick up the sleeve. But then this guy said, no, that's not what it is. There really is an ET invasion, and they're using that to hide it. They want to distract you with the blue beam and to say, oh yeah, this is real, look at this. But then there's the real invasion, there's the real UFOs, there's the real ETs that are coming, that are here and taking over stuff, and have always maybe been working for the government, etc., which is interesting. But I don't quite buy that one. But one thing I thought of is, and I think I said it before, but I'll say it again. Let's take holographic technology, right? Let's even look at the stuff that we're shown. Like you see buildings in other countries with this, maybe in the Middle East actually, in the rich areas, you see like a building and then a big dragon kind of spirals round it. I saw one with some, I don't know, blue being with a head device, and she went like this and then went, and it looked really impressive. And my thoughts were, if that was a jinn, how would you know? Like, or better still, if a jinn appeared in front of you, like say massive jinn in the middle of a city and did that, how would you know that that is not holographic technology or the real thing, the jinn, right? And how would a normie know? I mean, somebody who's a little psychic, has intuition, their instincts may tell them, no, this is not human technology. This is a paranormal event. But you still may be half confused. Well, how would your average Joe, your Western normie, know if that thing is a fake hologram, or not ET, but interdimensional, let's say? And so another question to ask is, well, wouldn't let's say, what if the technology that we have is for interdimensionals, as I was going to say? So the holographic technology, the computer technology, quantum computing, as Thomas Sheridan mentioned, what's in the quantum field? Are there entities in the quantum realm, and they want us to use this technology so that they can manifest here? So maybe that's what it's about. So Bluebeam could be a tool for invasion for interdimensionals, and it is same as CERN and all of that. That's what this technology is. But when they come through, they may masquerade as just holograms and just AI, but really they're here. So it's basically like a jinn invasion. If the jinn look like smokeless fire, so does a hologram, really, when you look at it. So, and I said that before. And okay, and then I'm watching this video, and this guy's talking about old technology that is responsible for the UFOs, in even the skinwalkers and everything, how it interferes with um, our equipment. The how it interferes with electrical equipment, can turn it off, turn it on, and manipulate it. Um, this is, like he's saying, an old Atlantean technology that is survived and it is alive and kicking, and the governments want to get hold of it and use it and re-engineer it. And he said Area 51, Roswell, the whole ET thing is a psyop into thinking it's ET. It's not. It's old technology that's being guarded by an AI system, by the looks of it, and they want that, but they can't. They can't really penetrate deep into these caves where there's lots of treasure but other stuff, because this is where this stuff exists. As I said, he said the Nazis were trying to get hold of it, and so I'm thinking. So he's saying it's not. These aren't beings. This is a technology that's doing it, maybe made by us in olden times. But what if it's a technology that is used for not only communicating but summoning these beings? And this is like the problem, I guess, with our inventiveness. It's like a Promethean type dilemma, as in we get, what I mean is, we have this amazing knowledge, like knowledge of the gods, like symbol was a high knowledge from a higher plane than the animals, so that we can invent this amazing stuff. But the problem with it is that we can come in contact with, negative interdimensionals that can screw it up for us. And this is always the dilemma when humanity goes through a creative period, a creative spark, and we invent this stuff. It always is the opportunity and the danger of bringing in these beings, and this is what we've done in the past. Maybe the old Atlantean technology is just that. So the blue beam is literally a way of making it far more easier for these beings to enter this reality and manipulate it, and even to a degree become solid or something like that. It can maybe densify them. It can build a bridge between this reality that was maybe harder in the past. In the past, like they say for these beings, like in the Middle East jinn, there would be like certain metals that can hold them or control them or summon them. So we have rings. So we have stories about metals working with them. Some people say crystals and stuff like that. And the obvious one is the genie of the lamp. This being was inside this thing. You rub it. Is that kind of when you get back to the original source of that myth? Was it a machine where you pressed a button or something like that? This is my train of thought right now. So yeah, that's like another theory of what bluebeam can be. And God, yeah, the thinning of the veil is what also concerns me. Is like if you're over there in the Middle East and in other cultures where it's very common, these beings that exist, and it's no surprise to you. Even if you're let's say a black magician, a black witch, you do have a certain advantage and a certain amount of protection in that you are still higher up in knowing that these forces exist, and that you won't go so far. You have lines even that you won't cross. So there's lines that even a black witch may not cross. People know about these beings, but the Western normie doesn't, and so when we have this technology, we don't know, they don't know the dangers of it potentially. And then if with bluebeam and everything, it worries me, and I thought of the idea, like an example is smokers and passive smokers. Like the person smoking weed, even though they have an addiction problem, to a level they're in control, is in they know it's the weed, if they're smart and if they can control it. So if they have a strong psyche, then as kind of when it becomes to, when you smoke a lot, yeah, it will become toxic and it will influence, but perhaps you can harness that influence that it has on you somehow to get things done in your life. I don't know. I'm just or hallucinogenics, right? That's a better one. Yeah, you know you are using these substances, and there may be a price to pay, but you are certain, you, to a degree, you're in control. Because you're consciously aware of when something happens, it's this, or kind of you expect, the unexpected. But somebody who, let's say, who is passively ingesting somehow hallucinogens, they're not going to know what's happening to them. Um, they're not going to know that they're shifting, and they're not going to understand what's going on, and they may go to sleep like in a zombie kind of state. And maybe this is kind of what we're seeing in the West, and it may get worse, where the people don't know what's happening to them. So it's almost like a zombie type scenario where you're walking around and these people are no longer their self because they don't understand. I'm talking supernatural invasion mixing with the technology and everything. It's like they had no understanding, so they didn't know the game. They didn't know how to play the game. They didn't know they didn't know a game was being played, so they didn't know and not only did they not know the dangers of the game, like a black magician knows the dangers of the game, they didn't even know a game was being played, and now they've just been moved off into another reality that's, you know, no, the end result is like a cliff drop, and they don't know what's happening. Kind of, I know, you roughly get what I'm saying, I hope. But yeah, interesting times, and yeah, I think things are going to get stranger and stranger as the years go, as we move forward. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone. Cheers.